All right, all right, all right, all right. Let me go ahead and let everyone know. Just letting more people kind of pile in. A couple people. I should be. All right, good evening. I should be in the voice chat in Discord, as well as streaming. I've almost got all of the privileges and permissions done. Should be done very, very soon. Just gonna let a couple more people pile in. We're gonna just go ahead and start without them while they pile in. Turn off this background noise. All right. So let's go ahead and get into it. I'm gonna go over a couple things. Let me go ahead and pull them up. Ooh. Pull them up here. Let me know if you can see them fine. Let's see. Alright, so they're just loading up now. And I'm going to go ahead and try to add another chart. A lot of stuff. Here we go. It's the other chart I was looking for, I believe. It's the same thing, but go ahead and change that. I just changed both of them into something. Alright, so someone wanted us to go over IDXG and another chart. So we'll go over those and then look at them from the daily, and then we'll look at the 5-minute on Friday. All right, there we go. And then I'll post up a thinkorswim chart with just a couple of indicators added in. We'll just add more and more each week and go over those as well as we progress. Alright, so first I'd like to go over actually AGEN. On E-Trade and Robinhood, thinking about doing an account challenge on UStockTrade. They have the dollar trade, $2 round trip. And I think it's $1 a month. Busty is doing a review on it. He's trying it out. He's saying that pretty much stuff has been going pretty good so far. He wrote up a little thing where you can check it out, UStockTrade, if you're in Robinhood and you don't like that you don't have enough day trades, if you're under 25K. There's a channel at the very bottom of the chat room. It's a UStockTrade review, and you can just go in there and check it out and see what he said about it. And he's going to have a more in-depth review coming up. That's just what it is right now. Alright, so right now we're just going to pull up these simple charts, and then we'll bring in some moving averages and weighted volume averages, RSI, and probably throw in some MACD in there. Try to do just a little bit each week, and then we'll keep adding like I was talking about, and we'll go over more and more indicators as the weeks go on. Alright, so wanted to go over AGEN real quick. This stock, let's see, don't know why it's not letting me in, Mike. Try that again. Alright, there it goes. Let me in. Alright, so this stock started shooting up, as you can see. Actually, I'll show it. It had a pretty good intraday. Had its run post-bell. Kind of dipped right back down, had its little correction, and then pretty much ran up with good dips and runs throughout the day. You can see where it stopped. Let's see if I can pull it up. You can see where it pretty much stopped at that 411 mark twice that day, right here. Could not pass. So that's at a very important point. And why, you ask? If you look on the daily chart, it's kind of kept that point as a point of resistance for a while now. For over 2 months, you can see where it's got that W double bottom right here, where you have that 325 mark coming towards the bottom. Double bottom, it kind of dipped right below that around April. You can see where it kind of came up, touched it. 411, it's right there, that mark. You got 410, 411 sitting there on the daily. What we're looking for Monday is if this chart, you know, breaks over 411, the next big resistance point you're going to have 420 right there. That's been a known resistance in the stock's past. And you can see, and with the moving averages as well. But as you can see, if it breaks this 411 mark, say we get another day like today, where it just moves, like Friday, I'm sorry, where you can see it kind of comes from 398 to 411. That's a really good day for this stock. That 411 is going to be a real big test for it. So let's say it starts out 411, dips down. If you get a close anywhere from 413 413 to 419, that's going to be a good day for that stock. Doesn't move much, but it does look like a good long-term stock in the future. That 411 is going to serve as your resistance break point. With that 411, 420 is going to be kind of a big test for the stock. Someone brought it up the other day and was definitely liking it. You've got the 20-day moving average, it's above. The 9-day, it's above. And it's also above the displaced EMA as well. So it's been doing really good. Let me see if it'll pull up now, since I've got it all up. Alright, there it goes. Alright, so we can look at this chart as well. You can see the RSI is kind of high. It's getting at 61, but it's okay. It's played way above 70, 80, and 90. Even when it hit its high, around 416, dipped down a little bit, and it's showing kind of a bullish trend over the past 20 days. You can see the volume coming in. You've got great consolidation on the bottom right where you see the green and red volume bars to its average. The purple line is going to be your 9-day MA, simple moving average, and the green teal line is going to be your 20. The lines in the middle are just moving average. It's kind of your volume weighted average, and the yellow line is just going to be your 10 displaced EMA. Alright, so let me pull this up so I can show you. And a lot of people will use, instead of just high break points, low points, you can actually, use your moving averages as points of support and resistance. Instead of using just break points on your visual analysis, you can also use the moving averages that serve well. You'll see them come up. And then later on, we'll get into the Fibonacci and the Ish-Cloud, and you'll see how those kind of points, when we go over those stocks in the future, how those points on those indicators, how they react to the stock when it drops below the cloud, above, in between, and also we'll go over EMAs a little bit later as well, probably next week. Those are just, instead of simple moving averages for your SMA, that's EMA, that's exponential moving averages. What that is pretty much, instead of simple moving averages, it's pretty much just taking the last 20 days, taking the price, and then dividing every end price by just dividing it by how many days it is. So if it's a 9-day SMA, it's taking each day's price, and then it is going to divide it by 9 days. So that's going to be your simple moving average. For exponential moving average, what you're going to do is you're going to see it react a little bit more when you have these sharp spikes and stuff. So when you're playing penny stocks and you're day trading and whatnot, and really not really holding long, the shorter moving average that you have is the one that you're going to want to use for 1-day swinging, 2-day swinging, day trading, and so on. The longer moving averages come into play when you're doing longer type swings, long in a stock and stuff like that. The exponential moving averages, you'll see those actually move a little bit better with the stock, because if a stock goes on a big run, then your simple moving averages, like say if news comes out or if it's a pump or anything like that, the simple moving average, like in this Thinkorswim's chart, you see that this stock has been running up pretty good. You see that 20-day SMA is at 379. It's pretty low compared to where the stock is. Your EMA is going to be well, if I had the 20 up right now, I only have the 10. But if you had the 20-day EMA, I'm sorry, it would be a little bit higher kind of with the stock because it kind of runs with sharper curves and whatnot, with more weight to it. It's more weighted, if that makes any sense. But we'll go over EMA a little bit more next week, as well as MACD. And then probably the week after that, we'll probably do a little bit of a VWAP. And then I'm guessing the next week we'll probably do probably Fibonacci and then Ishcloud, or maybe vice versa, kind of switch those around. All right. All right, let me see. I'm sorry, I got a message. Let me check it out. Alright, so for those who did not know, yes, you will not be able to see the chat tomorrow, or actually in just a little bit here, without registering at least your trial or membership on evolutiontrading.net. And you can DM me if you have any more questions about that. So Adrian, like we were saying, we're going to want to see a good close around 413. Even if it closes around 413 to 419, it's a good sign. You're going to have this big test, which should be able to either break or get, you know, kind of shorted down at the bell. It shouldn't stay at 411. This one does move at the bell. It kind of goes both ways a lot of times on its previous bells. Let me see if I can pull back. Oh, I'm looking at the wrong chart. You're on Thinkorswim. Alright, so yeah, so you can see where each time the stock, you know, doesn't, it kind of goes both ways. You can see how the candlestick is on each time. You've got about a, which this stock, you know, 11-cent difference is pretty huge because this stock doesn't really move as much as a lot of these other small pennies that you're seeing. This one actually has a lot more, what's the word I'm thinking of? It's a lot more stable, I guess you could say. But this is going to be a real big test. It's going to come up and show whether it's going to be shorter's paradise or a buyer's bonanza. I think that's right. They changed management on the 30th. I was just talking, someone was just bringing this up the other day. And you can see kind of where that mark was, where the stock started rising after they changed management. And they've got their phase 3 results around the 21st. So it's definitely a good stock to watch. Let's go over IDXG. Yeah. Alright, so this right now is what I'm pulling up. As you can see, the 20-day, these are all 1-hour candles. We'll go ahead and pull up. So we'll look at the 20-day, for example. I do not remember this thing getting to $2.08. Wow. Does anyone else remember that? I remember this stock playing in between that 83 to 86 to $1. But that must just be the last 10 days or so. But you can kind of see that after that drop, it's kind of leveled out. Alright, just taking a look at some stuff. Alright, so since this last drop, let's pull up that. Got a rise, higher highs, equal lows. Alright, so yeah, this is kind of the last 10 days, the last 2 weeks where it's been playing. You're having these dollar runs. It did break that one time and go to 110. But besides that, you can kind of see where the stock has kind of broke up to $1, dropped back down to 90, 83, 86 cents, hit $1.10, came back down. Then you have $1 here, and 95 in this last after hours, which I don't know if there was a lot of weight to that, to be honest. Right here, yeah, the volume's there. It's definitely going to be interesting going into Monday how the stock's been playing. You're going to have that $1 be your major support, that major point of resistance. So if it breaks at dollar, kind of holds that 101 range, then it's definitely time to buy in. If you're not already in it, and at least scalp it, 5% up to 105, even possibly 8% or so up to 108, 109. Possibly take 2/3 of your position, maybe leaving 33% if the volume is there, and if it's weighted to kind of play that break of resistance. Usually you want to sell if the volume's not there to play that break, but if it is, that is a point where you would want to, if you're already in it, that's going to be a major point as well. But $1 is going to be your major point of resistance, and then you can see in the past where we just showed that 110 has been, it's pretty much high point, no break, drop down, dip from area. You can see on your 20-day moving average you have 107. It's nowhere near that, but you can see on your 9-day it's at 89. Right now the stock is at that 9-day SMA. With you have this right here, this shaded part right here. This is going to be your after hours, I'm sorry. So you can see right here where it ran up to 95 and dropped back down into after hours. Let's see how the MACD plays. So you can see it's cross above zero being this whole time since the start of Friday. It pretty much played around the line, and you can see where that spike came. And, it's way above zero on the MAC. And you have it kind of downtrending, but this is more after hours right here, this big old play. Let's see how it reacted in the other aftermarket pre. Kind of followed through each time, it looks like. And you can see its last spike, that was after hours, that was at 95. It broke above 70, RSI put it down. You have it as well, this break, put it down right here, right after the break. So it's kind of playing off the RSI. There wasn't. Let's kind of look at the 10-day real quick. Oh, look at all that sell after that 110. RSI is pretty good. It's 50 right now. You're kind of in that zone, that dead zone. You wanna play this stock buys around 83 to 86 cents. That's where it's keeping a lot of support. Its low is 82. About 83.2 is going to be where a lot of your support is, and at the very top of that you're playing at from around 85 to 86. 83 would be optimal buy for this stock. All right, let's pull up the next one. Yep, it is. It is above zero line on the MACD. Do the cloud on the 5-minute. Yep, and we'll go over that. The cloud probably in 2 weeks after we do VWAP, if we don't do the Fibonacci points before that. All right, THLD, and we'll go over our AVGR as well. I know June was in that stock. We'll kind of look over that one real quick as well. Not spend too much time on it, but we will go over it. Alright, so you can see it's high, broke over RSI. Let's see what we're on. We are on the 10-day THLD pretty much kind of sat around 0 MACD until you had the break, and you can see where the break went over the MAC. Let's see. RSI is above 50. No volume at all in this stock. In the 9 days leading up to it. Let's look at the 20-day and see what it was. Yeah, so this stock was pretty much dead coming into. You can see right here these arrows on the chart. Let me see if you're still looking. Yeah, you are. All right, you see these arrows on the chart, these little gray arrows. All that is that's where it crossed over the RSI above 30. So you can see right here, you have your 30 line here, you have your 70 line here, and you can see where this blue dips down. You see the red, that's above 70. This is below 30 right here. And the blue, you can see the arrows. This is where it crossed above 30. The stock didn't react much off of it. But the only 3 crosses you have on the 20-day, it starts to build a couple days out of that to where you had that run. You have this at around 36, and it played all the way up to 42 at this point. And it kind of started after those runs, but you can see where it dipped down to this 35 point last Thursday, not this past Thursday, but the Thursday before last. Kind of kept in between there, dipping down. Very unusual stock. There's really no volume into this stock. It was a complete pump. There's not really more you can say about it. Good news is that it did level out to about 54 cents with the run Friday. Thursday to Friday run was pretty big. Let's go ahead and pull up the news on it. Oops. Alright, they filed an 8K. I think I looked at this Friday on the 22nd. Let's see, May, June. So they completed the sale of its rights to TH3424 to Obi Pharma. They received $500,000 and then another $2.5 on June the 16th. So nothing really to pull over this stock. Do you have any rumors? Do you have your rumors pulled up on this stock? I don't have any of my rumors on TI pulled up. Which you can pull up rumors on a stock and it'll kind of tell you what's kind of going on, besides just a lot of the StockTwits banter that, you know, people have rumors on there all the time with reverse splits and whatnot. But let's check a little bit further back. Okay, so on the 13th, they dosed their first patient in a phase 1 immunotherapy clinical trial investigating, okay, excuse me that I do not know these cancer terms, ipilimumab and ifosfamide for the treatment of patients with metastatic or locally advanced prostate cancer, pancreatic cancer, and HPV. So they dosed their first patient in a phase 1 trial. That was on the 13th, though. Pretty much nothing justifying this run. That run though on Thursday, you know, in midday to after hours, kind of set up that completely. I mean, just a beautiful run. I don't see it getting back up there unless there's, you know, something going on. I don't think anything's been released, any kind of news or anything's been released over the weekend, if anyone has heard anything. They have a merger. Nice. Okay. With who? I can pull up my rumor mill. Hold on. Oh, okay, I gotcha. So they have some kind of merger planned. Busty is saying maybe in between the second and third quarter. Nothing that I know about, to be honest. It's above both its 9 and 20 SMA. It's about sticking even with its EMA. Kind of right on 10 EMA. And right at average weight, even kind of ending right below it. It's going to be interesting. Towards the end of the day, when it had that volume, you can see where it started to have all that sell volume coming at the end of the day. It's very tricky because Friday, it could do that because of Friday's sell-off. No one wanting to hold that risky of a stock going in with a run all the way. It's still at 54 from its run from 36 to 42, kind of channeling in that area up to 68, dropping down to 54. Will definitely be interesting Friday if it drops. I hope you have a stop loss in. If you're planning on holding it until the bell, don't have a stop loss. If you're going to sell it, you're going to want to put a limit order because this will probably, you can see right here how it went from 44 to 55 at the bell. You can kind of see where it crisscrossed. This is an hour candle though, so let's kind of look where it really went to. So you've got 47 to 44, which 3 cents on a stock like this is pretty huge. In a 40 cent stock, that's a lot of money. So you'd want to put a sell limit in if you're because a stop loss, you're probably going to end up going past your point, and it's probably going to pick you up and sell you at around 44.8, 45. Let's, for instance, say if it was Friday. But if you have a limit order in, it could pick you all the way up here if your limit is up here, wherever you put it. But this is the 5 minute right now up here. What looks pretty nice is even though after it had that initial pump kind of run, Thursday it was churning all day Thursday, and then it had a good run coming up to midday lunch. But all of right here for a lot of these stocks were like this, had all this downtrend going on, and there was nothing pretty much picking up until end of day. So let's see, you're having starting out, you can see you got these lower highs right here. And here. And here. Which kind of equals out towards the end of the day. These are two different ones, but I'm just extending it across where it kind of equals out at the end of the day. And the bottoms actually start getting up. This is with your end of day kind of power hour right here, where the highs start getting just a little bit higher than what they were. You can see where the bottoms are getting a little bit higher towards the end of the day, and the highs actually balance out and stay equal. Be very interesting come Monday. I'm expecting some huge runners come Monday. I wouldn't be surprised if this one was on the list. I would definitely sell below this point right here. If it drops below 50, I would put maybe a 49.2, 49.5, maybe even a 49.9 stop loss. But if you're looking to buy, that would also be a good place to buy as well, possibly to get that interval 50-point swing. So I definitely wouldn't be surprised if this one ran come Monday. If you held it, good luck, wish the best. But if you didn't, look for that 50-cent interval, see if we can't get a bounce off of it, and kind of play it up. And then I would sell all the way in between with that 60, 61 to 62 being a good point to kind of have your last point at, with points in between probably around this area right here, around that 55 area as well. RSI is 54. You can see where it completely topped that and went all the way up to a 90 RSI before it kind of came down. Played the sell volume. Had a good little pump at the end of the day to keep it equal highs with the higher lows getting up. So definitely interesting for Monday. Yeah, AVGR definitely hit that float Friday. Definitely hit the float. This one you can see the run up from Thursday as well, and a lot of these happen like this, Thursday and Friday, to where you had some unusual volume happen. See if we kind of exit out a little bit, go through. This is the 20-day. You can see where you had this little run up on kind of spread out, kind of lower volume kind of happening. This is probably 15 days ago around this point right here where it had this little run. You have around 36 to 35 here kind of being your 2 points, and then it's getting all the way up to 47 to 53. Kind of settles out throughout the rest of the time until you have that dip come Wednesday. So that dip Wednesday, you can see crossed over MAC cross below it, and then you can kind of see Thursday it started to churn up. You have the cross on the MAC, you have where it touched the RSI, dip below, and kind of extended right back up through after hours to pre-market. This is the end. After hours to pre-market kind of ran through it. So this is kind of the same thing with THLD, and a couple other stocks look like this. We had a bunch of early day runners Friday that kind of mellowed out throughout the day and kind of ran at the end of the day. This one actually did the opposite. This is the 1 hour, I'm sorry. So this one actually was kind of a little bit different, that this one kind of mellowed out throughout the day right here, but as you can see it turned up as well. Let's see, around 1 o'clock before its end of day, it actually just completely crapped the bed. This was a big run though. Let me exit out. So yeah, this was one of the best. So you have it right here, kind of starting out at the 20-day SMA in between the 9 and 20, because you can see that it was kind of sticking around there in that little 9 and 20 channel for the past 10 to 20 days. And it kind of broke over and kind of stayed over Thursday. You have it still above your MAs, and then you can just see the volume. You have some unusual volume coming in here for the past 20 days through right here. You could tell that the volume was really unusual. And then you had more buys, even though it wasn't that strong. It was stronger than the after hours it previously had. That's a good sign when you have unusual volume coming in on a stock that doesn't have any news or anything. It's probably getting ready for a pump or whatnot. But AVGR, let's see, they did have something if I'm not mistaken. That's right. They had the complaint on their shareholders. They notified and then reminded investors. That was a month ago, though. Let's see. So if you're holding this, I think June is. Hopefully you weren't holding it. If you bought in somewhere in this area right here, if you can see my crosshair, this run up right here, I was thinking that it would get to, I think me and Brad were talking somewhere close to $1.96, 98. It ended up hitting 95.59 and broke down. If you bought in here, your sell should have been right here. Obviously, if you held on, didn't put your stop loss, this would have been a bad. This is why it's always on these pumps to have a stop loss, because even if you see the top right here, you'd much rather want to set that stop loss and sell, even if you set it a loose one, and play the market how it is. With all these booms, and you're 2 to 4% under support, depending on how volatile the stock is. Even if you play it loose, that's going to help you from what if it's going to raise, what if it's going to raise, and help you from a 90-cent to a 60-cent drop right here, and then finally like, oh my gosh, this thing might tank, and then you end up getting out. You gotta kind of firm up on your plan. Don't let those loose entries and exits kind of take you down. But you can see where it kind of turned up through here, kind of gave you a second chance. And it ran all the way up to 85 to get back some of those profits. But I'm guessing if you didn't sell from all the way up top here, and unless you bought right here, then it was fine to kind of hold. But 70 to 85 is a huge run. But if you held through all here, then I'm guessing you held and didn't sell on your second chance opportunity and held through here as well. Good thing is, though, you can see right here is where this little arrow, like in before, you can kind of see where it dipped below the RSI. This is just on the 5-day. You can see where it dipped below the RSI and kind of came back up kind of in a day with some volume. It's still below zero on the MACD. Across the RSI, and you can kind of see where there was no volume after hours, none at all. A lot of sell going in, which doesn't look too good for this stock. I think it was a complete pump, especially because the stock, has had some shifty stuff in the past, with them reminding and letting know investors if they purchased back last year, they have complaints. And alleges, let's see, that they had false and misleading statements in their PO that they had. Experience problems with the robustness of its luminous platform devices, requiring more extensive and more comprehensive training than what they convinced them to adopt. So, I mean, the business already kind of seems pretty shady, but that was back all the way to 1 or 2 years ago, 2 years ago, or so. They just kind of came out with reminding people this year to kind of file those complaints if they already haven't, or shareholders, I'm sorry. So it's kind of shady. And they went through their PO a couple times, so. Kind of surprised that after they got it up here, they didn't go through one as well, but they want to get above that dollar without having to go a reverse split, so that's probably a good sign. Or this kind of shady company would have done another PO on you. Say if it was like $1.30, $1.40, $1.80, something like that. If the stock was up there, I wouldn't leave any doubt that this kind of company would do that with looking into its past. I love playing this stock around that 40 to 44 cent mark, though. Kind of not like a YOLO play, but a tight stop loss, just playing a couple pennies to get that 4-cent run, which turns out to be 10% in this case. Let's look at a couple others that I wanted to show. Which might turn some people off because some of these are a little bit higher priced. Alright, so we've got AAOI. So you can see this stock. This is 5-day, 10-day, 20-day, and then I'll pull it out half a year. Alright, so I mean, just looking at this chart, you can kind of just visually see that this chart is been super bullish. You've got it to around $20 right here. And just to kind of remind, this is AAOI. Just kind of look right here. Trying to look at something, sorry. Don't see it on, okay. Alright, so yeah. So you've got this, okay. So you can see kind of in the past half a year, and just even pulling it out to the past year, you can see where this stock has been extremely bullish. You have its run. This is just over a year. So if you held this stock for the past year, depending on when you bought, sold, if you bought it exactly a year ago, you would have bought in at around 1080. The stock was up over 750%. To $75, and it's kind of sitting around 64 right now. You can see this consolidation right here. You do have these kind of sell volumes kind of weighted outweighed, but there was this huge sell-off coming right here. But you can see where it's had these big sell-offs in the past and just continued up running. I think this stock will get over to $68 soon. Let's pull it up for the past. These are daily candles, so each one of these candlesticks represents a day. So you can see that this is, I don't know, 2 months, yeah, 2 months worth, so about 60 days of candles. And you can see that it went on this big dip, and then through here you can see all this happening. Right now it's above its 9 and 20. It had this nice run on this Friday. And you can see, let's pull it out. Where'd it go? Alright, I'm just trying to show you straight run-ups on this thing instead of jagged ones. This was from a low, so I can't really put it there. And that was straight up on news. Trying to show how it plays. I'm expecting a good week for this stock. It did get a little high on Friday. You can see with all this intense volume coming in. This is the tech sector. You can see where that big drop came in was the tech sell-off. You can see it keeping above the 9 and 20. RSI is around 59 on the 15-minute 5. You've got this high of 68. I believe that you're going to drop to around this range is 64, 65, and then I believe towards the end of the week you're going to get back up to, I believe you're going to get back up to its high at around 75, probably around 73, 72 range. Probably consolidate through there. You have a ton of buy volume coming in Friday. The stock is looking extremely bullish. You can kind of see where it was setting up Thursday, beginning and end of day, and where the beginning of the week you can see all the buy volume that set it off for the entire week to come. Even though that it kind of dropped throughout Tuesday, you have these curls in the RSI until where it dropped come Thursday, and that's where it started, where it touched that 30 RSI and kind of ran through that bullish movement. Had some stuff come out Friday to cause the run. I don't know why I'm saying Tuesday. On Tuesday the market was closed, and Monday was half day. But yeah, you can see where the sell-off came right here. Kind of ran throughout the entire day Friday. So it's definitely one to watch. I do expect the dip coming in it. You do have the cross under MACD right before close with the weekend sell-off, with it hitting the high on the 5 and 10 day. But it's been a very bullish chart on the 10-day, 20-day, 180 year. The stock has been, you know, proven and proven again. Definitely one to keep an eye on. Alright, and Mayo is another one to keep an eye on. So this is the 20-day. These are hour candles. You can see Mayo got all the way on this huge run that we were looking at a couple weeks ago that hit up to $23. You can see its drop all the way down to $9.80 right here. Obviously, with a drop from 23 to 9, it's going to be below its moving averages. Definitely looking for a bounce to come soon here. You've got it MACD low. You've got the RSI almost coming down to 30 again. You can see on the cross, this one's playing off this RSI. It's been getting little bumps. So you can see right here where it crossed on the RSI. You can see it got this run. You can see on this cross soon after, you have this consolidation right here. You see all this accumulation in the volume right here, where it's kind of going sideways, and you've had this accumulate before any run happens. You have the cross right there. It kind of stops it from going low, playing up. You've got these crosses right here that keep it kind of going sideways right here with this accumulation. You can see the positive volume starts turning up right after these arrows on the RSI. So it's been really playing off its charts, and that's a lot that you'll see. And you'll see even a little bit more into your fib in your cloud. That these higher price stocks actually play off of these technicals, and it's a lot easier to read stocks without all these pumps and whatnot going around. But you can kind of see where it played off of that and then went up as well. Right now it is heading back down to that 30 RSI, and you can see each time that it's touched what's happened. So you have right here, it's been a sharp touch. You can see the blue right here with these arrows, and you can see that it's rose each time. So, and even after this one, it's rose. So whenever it gets around that 30 spot or whatever, definitely, even if it's a short-term scalp, it's definitely going to be a swing on the list. Definitely one to watch. I would definitely keep it up there. Alright, so I just wanted to show you a couple of those. I think Mayo is going to be a really good one, in my opinion. Also, we were talking about this one Friday as well. This one had that sharp fall all the way down to what, 690, 680? Let's see if it'll pull up. Alright, yeah, so I had that sharp fall Friday. Gave a good 686 to 750 bounce or so. And then kind of headed back down. So right now you have it right below 698. And you can see, let's see, RSI kind of stayed up, went up before it dropped again. Didn't help it. These are after hours. Then you have right here, went up on the RSI. Here, dropped until it got picked up. Not really. This one as well, kind of went sideways from here. So these higher stocks, you can kind of see them play off of it. But this is, you can see where the fundamentals come in. This is where the news came out and dropped this stock. So right now, you can see all the sell going on in here where the volume's getting pretty intense. But I think this is going to be a good point around this area. You've got this low being right here, 672. You've got around a 684 support happening in this stock. So I would look for around that 684, depending on where it opens, that 684 spot to possibly enter to play this stock up. If it drops below 672. So that's where I would have my buy and my stop loss set around 684, depending on where it opens up. Obviously, if it opens up under, then you're just going to wait till it kind of bottoms out and kind of curls back up. Wait for this RSI to kind of touch below here, kind of drop below here. You can see where it's kind of hit real bad on this entire drop. So right now it's just playing off fundamentals mostly with the news that came out that made the stock pretty bearish. We're going to wait for it to kind of settle down, chill out. Which Friday end of day, you can see where it touched bottom and kind of headed up. So, which usually you have a lot of selling come Friday, but there were a lot of people optimistic about this stock because of its highs that it was at. You can see the 20-day SMA is at around $10, and even the 9s around $9.50. That's just because the stock was really bullish going into the news, and it did drop it. So I'd look for those points to possibly get into the stock. Set your stop loss 2% under 672. Possibly even if you can catch it under 684, it might be a good buy as well. All depending on where the stock opens at as well. But be careful, this stock might drop lower. They do have that entire, I don't want to say it was fraud, but I know just like with AKTX on their $22 to $5, $4.50 drop, they were misleading investors on their phase 2. I believe OCUL was misleading investors as well. So as those points look great and all, you've got to, just keep in mind that when it's trading off fundamentals, you can keep your technicals for stuff like support and resistance and stuff, and just maybe play scalps in it. But mostly, you want it to be confirmed. If I can say that the best, you definitely want it to be confirmed, and the technicals to be confirmed when it's trading off fundamentals, because especially when there's some shady business going on, you definitely want to have it confirmed before jumping into anything kind of, or having any kind of this is where it was at kind of preconceived notions about this is what it should do, this is what the chart's telling me, this is where it was at. Because whenever you have stuff like that, the stock could really drop even lower than what the chart is showing. So definitely have it confirmed before you enter into any position. So definitely, just keep a loose eye on that one. Possibly play when it reaches that bottom, kind of confirms kind of this drop reversal kind of going on. See if I can pull up a couple of these others. And then we'll go ahead and get off or whatnot, unless anyone else has any other questions. But I'll pull up a couple of other of these that I wanted to take a look at as well, and we'll just go over them real quick. And then next week, like I was saying, we'll probably go over EMA, the exponential moving averages, a little bit more, as well as possibly add in some VWAP in there, and then probably move on to probably Fibonacci, then the cloud, or like I was saying, vice versa earlier. But we'll just keep adding more and more things in. We plan on adding more points in with the alerts. We also are having the click system. Everyone that's registered, they should be getting an email within this next week to give you the place to sign up for our instant click alerts, where there is not a lot of typing to be involved, and the click alerts should send them directly to you with the price it's at. So there isn't any well, it was this price, but it's this price now. Like, it should come directly to you at that price point. Alright, so like what the stock market is showing when it's sent. Alright, so where are the other ones I was looking at? Oh, and let me go ahead and keep on with OCUL. They do have the drug with the pain. I think it's a pain drug for surgeries, eye surgery, something like that. I was reading on the FDA calendar, that BioPharm calendar I was showing you all a couple weeks ago. They have news coming out, I believe, the 19th or the 25th, I believe, on or about that date for OCUL. So that's something to keep in mind as well when playing that stock. But IPCI, I think we went over that one last week. But okay, yeah, AVEO. You should definitely keep AVEO, which has been 1,000% bullish these past couple weeks. And AVEO does have the news coming out about it with they completed the phase 3 on the 20th last month, and they've got the futility analysis due mid-2017, so should be expected anytime soon. They go ahead and put it on there on the 31st, but it should be, somewhere soon in this. You're having a lot of hype run into this, and I expect it to, dip down and keep running like it did. We had a good swing on it the other day, and it continued into Friday. Off of its 224, 228 up to 244, 246. I believe it's at around 270, 280 now. So let's go ahead and pull up a couple of those. And then one that I've loved that's got some news coming up as well is ARNA. It's a little bit higher price stock, but it's been putting up, seriously, it's been putting up, I don't know, 5 to 15% gains on a $15 to $20 stock, which is kind of unheard of. Kind of around those lines with CALA as well, CALA. All right, so you can see AVEO on the chart in front of you. You can see every kind of run up to the RSI. It's kind of dipped with these spike drops kind of in between. You can see this double top right here on the RSI. This is just a 5-day up right now, and you can see where it's kind of settled back down to 50. It doesn't play down to 30 a lot in this stock, especially on these past couple runs. You can kind of see it playing in between 40 and 75, 40 and 80 for the past couple days, because obviously it's been on these runs. It hasn't really had those sharp dips because there's been a lot of, it's been, extremely bullish. So let's just pull it up over the last 20 days. You can see where its SMA kind of stayed right here, kind of stayed where the stock was because there was nothing going on. You can see the MACD was sitting around start, nothing big in it. RSI sitting around 50, doing nothing because that's how the stock was playing with not much volatility in it. But you can see where the run started happening in pre-market, 2 weeks ago, and then has kind of headed up since. You have this average, it kind of evened out for about 4 or 5 days and then steadied up into its run. This is 1 hour candles, and you can see that it's pretty much lit up green all throughout. Your volume's good, especially the start of day. The volume's been really good for about last week, and then it looks like it's turning up again Thursday and Friday. So we'll pull up the last 2 days. You can see the bells have been great. And aftermarket Friday was pretty surprising. It hit all the way up to 293. Not a lot of volume at the end of after hours, but at the start it was definitely there. It's above its EMA even on the sharp runs. Obviously it's above the 9 and really obvious because it's above the 20, especially because the stock was sitting still way low 20 days ago. This is pulling it up on the half-year chart where you see its run up kind of curls around. volume average you can see is over. Average volume, it's just booming way over, and you can kind of see the curl right here where the volume curls under. I can't really, wonder if I can zoom. There we go. You can kind of see where the volume kind of keeps getting lower and lower and lower. You've got higher, lower, 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 and then you can see where it's starting to, oops, I don't even mean to. You can see where it is starting to kind of come back up now. Kind of heading back up above the, and it was sticking around that average volume or whatnot because it's curling up, and you can see where Thursday and Friday it started continuing back up. That's a good sign, especially when your weighted average volume is heading up with your moving average. It's above the 9 big time. It's crossed, and you can also see that it also reflects that on the MACD. You can see on the last week you have your cross, and then your cross below through the days where it kind of consolidated and then kind of stuck around, accumulated a little bit. Not too much drop in it. Definitely higher highs throughout. These are 4 hours. And then on the 5-minute, we'll pull up. Actually, it's had its big runs in pre-market and after hours. And on a day Friday, where you had big runs in the morning time with kind of some drops throughout the evening, you can see where even Friday it has that little bowl in the moving weighted volume, where this stock has played a lot in pre-market and after hours. But this stock never really dipped during the day. It kind of kept this point, this 260 point throughout the day, and even a little bit higher than that, except for the bell. You can see where the bell moved. This is what I'm talking about. You don't want to set stop losses because you have a 251 to 269 kind of action happening right there, right after the bell. But you can see where this stock stayed above this point at 264 and played above there the entire day, which is pretty impressive for the stock. So we'll kind of see where it gets to, and if it can break $3, if it can break $3 and kind of hang around there, it's going to be super bullish. You can see on the 5-day the RSI isn't high. It's sticking at the close it was, but kind of broke that in the after hours, which there's lower volume and whatnot, and headed back down through after hours because there's lower, even lower volume. Kind of stuck around, was above it right before lunch. You can see where it went below, but it held up even through Friday's horrible lunchtime. On the 1 minute, it's playing off the RSI, which 1 minute we'd look for day trades. But definitely, if you can break over that $3, definitely it's time to get in. I think it's Biopharm Catalyst dot, I don't know what .com maybe. Let me post it for you. Yeah, biopharmcatalyst.com. There you go. Boom. So ABO is definitely going to be one to watch. If it doesn't break $3, it might start heading down. It might be a possible short, but it looks like it has every intention of kind of sticking around there and breaking at the moment until that news is kind of released into it. Even though the chart, you can see, is playing at 90 or so on the RSI on the daily. You can see, well, yeah, it's around 90 on the daily chart. You can kind of see where every day has been a green candle on the daily chart, and it's been hanging around that area. but you can see on the 4 hour it dipped below 70 and kind of came back up. This is where you had all that accumulation happening. You can see where the cross on the MACD down here as well, until it ran again, kind of gave you a really good flag happening. That's what I meant to pull up. You can kind of see right here as well a flag starting to happen on AGEN. That's what we were talking about the other day. I think me and Avia, you can see where it heads up. You can see where it's got this flag right here straight down. Gives you this little channel right here. Oops, messed that up. Still messed that up. Ugh. But you can see right here where it kind of gives you that flag. And then look for a breakout, possibly. We went over the points just a little bit ago. But with what we'd like to see come Monday to kind of keep on that trend. But this would be really good. You kind of have a bull flag setting up here. You have your flag right here on the first two lines I drew. So definitely check that one for that 411 break, depending on where the bell opens up to, as well as into the next couple days into 420 as well. ARNA has the news coming out soon. You can kind of see where this stock has the reversal happening. You can see over the past year, or what is this, 180 days a year, you can see where it was on a downtrend completely, and then over the past 2 months, this stock has been on an absolute tear. Let me pull up the 4 hour on the 2 months. These are 4 hour candles, and you can see where it's been on an absolute tear. Volume's been increasing. MACD got up big time above zero on this run, and it looks like it might be heading up to $20 right here. But you have this double top happening right here, which is a big resistance point for the stock right now. But it's being hyped off the news that's happening. That's coming out soon. So definitely one to watch. I expect a dip coming up here from this 20, possibly a good short here pretty soon. But once it breaks 20, I'm expecting some pretty big things for it until that news releases at least. But I do expect a dip coming up in it as well. And depending on the news that comes out about this stock, just like kind of like Omer and did, as well as Mayo and ACUL, Akul. If you get this and it comes out with bad news or doesn't reflect this hype, this thing's going to be a tremendous short. So I do not, even though that the news is expected to be great in this stock, I do not recommend holding through any news. But if you do catch this stock and it does come out with bad news, then I believe this would be a great shorting stock after that. But right now I'm completely bullish on it, especially at the break of 20 right here. You can see where it had kind of troubles with 18 before it dropped. It's had some interval problems, but not much to on Friday. With that bullish day Friday, it kind of bulled through 19, but you can kind of see where it had that problem with 18 as well. Had that problem with 14, a lot of intervals right here as well, but it kind of completely went on a tear throughout this past 2 weeks. And I like the slow grind that it had over 15 as well after its drop. But alright, it's getting pretty late. Yeah, bullish flag, it looks pretty good on AGEN. But yeah, it's getting pretty late. We've been on for about an hour and 20 minutes or so. I'm going to go ahead and set the rest of these permissions. If you can see the chat tomorrow, then you've already registered and everything. If you haven't and you are listening right now, then you need to register. See you all tomorrow. Everybody have a great night.